Welcome everyone to another open source episode, another not so amazing thing. As you see from the thumbnail, I have my precious powerbook here, but it's wired obviously, and always on YouTube for the views. Don't want to throw that down now. Precious little thing. But yeah, things are not so amazing. I mostly unpacked it because people in our Discord said PowerPC stuff not fully totally working, and unfortunately I can confirm a recurring theme here of the only constant, what I call our members and friends and contributors and stuff already want to print a t-shirt with, so probably share, like and subscribe for this. Merch, fine merch coming up with the only constant is change and regression and stuff like that. And it's also this new age Linux developer. So what is this thing? I found multiple things. Also, by the way, it's totally usable, right? It builds. So this is this tiny little 800 megahertz G4. It's like from 20 freaking years ago. Time flies, right? Crazy stuff. And here, Ultivec, you get nearly 3.5 gigs memory, or is it even memory? Sounds a little bit high though. It sounds a little bit cached though. But anyway, what did I want to say? Yeah, it built LM sensors in like 2 minutes 8 or somewhere, and it's like, hey, linking and stuff. You see, all those C++ files only 30-40 seconds. Totally daily driver. But multiple things. So people commented, yeah, the stuff freezes. Like they tried our T2 ISO, freshly built, latest release. It's like, yeah, can't boot. It freezes and stuff, hangs and deadlocks and stuff. And I thought intuitively Radeon, and maybe it's Radeon frame buffer, but it's the thing that, because also I wasted one freaking extra hour, right? I said yesterday's video, why does it stuff? Why don't we have the Linux desktop? Multiple things, right? As I said yesterday, even does it need, I don't know, am I a 10x engineer to be the only one notice this stuff? I don't know. Maybe I should start a freaking AAA company and get billionaire like Elon Musk or stuff, and not do this free open source stuff here that doesn't pay the bills. Did I hit here, by the way, yesterday? Let's put it here somewhere. Save load modules yesterday. Like, do I have here node? Here, save mode. Yeah, so yeah, I have it already. Because as I said yesterday, if this would be not only microkernel, right, for decades, and recurring theme here, if this would be more stable microkernel, or if it would be a more stable kernel, not constantly changing, then we wouldn't have decade-old drivers crashing and deadlocking that stuff. Even if we say, okay, for performance, yes, the only thing Linus Torvalds prioritizes is obviously performance, right? Because who cares about freaking stability or security? If you say, okay, you need a monolithic single address-based kernel where everything can clobber each other, fine. As I said yesterday, then at least do safe module loading of like having a plain text database file stuff to mark, I'm loading this module, flushing this to storage, and if I boot and it's still in there, then don't try the second time, right? This is like, people talk AI, but they can't even for 30 years, like a freaking open source Linux and BSD distributions, not load a freaking driver that already previously crashed the machine. And so it's not Radeon. It might be Radeon frame buffer because I didn't test it independently, but the thing is, the major thing was the PCMCA thing that is, I renamed that here in, what was it, the Yenta socket. So yeah, who would have guessed that, right? And as I said yesterday, even I needed 1 hour of boot. Because why did I need 1 hour? Because first I had to install it, like first 15 or 20 minutes gone for installing that. Then reboot, more reboot. There's also crazy thing somehow. I couldn't believe it. In our Discord, I said boot with init equals bin bash, and he said, yeah, that oopses, and it really does. I was yesterday like, what the heck are they even doing? How can this oops? But yes, somehow it does. Not really sure. Normally it shouldn't. I probably have. You know what? I should put this on the to-do. Why does? Because this always worked in it. I need to test with x86 if it happens there also, because I did this like a gazillion thousand times. Yes. And also the next the problem is also booting takes a little bit longer because I need to hold the option key and select that, and then the boot pickers of Open Firmware like takes a minute or so for scanning devices and waiting for FireWire devices. So each cycle like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes with all the manual typing and stuff. Also drop frames, thank you very much. And the only other constant is this bloody Vodafone failing doxer shit, and frame drop. So even I needed like 1 hour to figure out, and then I also S-trace this single user mode, S-tracing UDEV. I mean, yeah, you need to S-trace freaking UDEV to hopefully have something on the screen when the bloody kernel crashes, right? And first I thought, and the first thing was Radeon, but I maybe the first thing Radeon frame buffer, that's where I'm not sure, because the first thing that UDEV loaded and crashed was Radeon FB, but maybe it was only that wasn't the primary culprit, and because then when I rebooted without Radeon frame buffer, it's still oops, I had to do that again. The next 5 minutes gone, after a while an hour is gone. Even for like a Linux Master Jedi, it takes like 1 freaking hour. I mean, other people put this thing to the shelf, sell it on eBay, or reinstall macOS, or try the next Linux distribution for 1900. So yeah, even for Linux Master Jedi thing, they're like 1 hour. Yeah, S-tracing, yeah. Do you have, by the way, if you are more Master Linux Jedi stuff, do you have a better thing than S-tracing UDEV to see which freaking module it loads? So after that, like rebooting the 5th time of all this trial and error, doing that again, S-trace, UDEV, ADM trigger, and it's like, boom, you enter sockets, like PC. And this PCMCA stuff was always glitchy. I guess once upon a time it probably worked, although the iBook never had. But yeah, I remember like as long as even when I had the first no-name x86 laptop 20 years ago, some Gericom no-name thing from MediaMarkt stuff, I guess, or Aldi, cheap crap that I could afford as a student. Even there, this PCM stuff was glitchy, right? So, and it's also the crazy stuff, right? With 10,000, sure, PCMCA Cardbus is not yesteryear, not last gen, but also, the next thing is also, so yeah, of Cardbus. I'm also not debugging this, right? Maybe I write a proper working, not crashing Cardbus PCMCA driver stuff for my microkernel eventually, in 5 years or so. I'm not freaking debugging this right now, I've really better. I mean, also, this is probably hell to debug, because like if you want prop this bloody module and it freezes and deadlocks. May I present to you the state-of-the-art, 20 years in the making, Mesa3D in 2022. Once probably next to bug-free, one of the highest performance Linux 3D drivers, Radeon R200, I think. It's like, yeah, GLX gears. Is that not amazing? And if this would be a commercial company, let's be a little bit honest here, right? It's usually the honest critical thinking channel here. If this would be a commercial company, we would call this utter incompetence, right? We would call this laughable. We would call this unprofessional. Like if this would be Microsoft and stuff would constantly break like that in Windows. And it's like, yeah, needless to say, I'm also not debugging that. It's, yeah, these drivers were just deleted in Mesa, so that is like, the irony is I just released T2 with the last version of Mesa with this classic drivers. It's like, yeah, it's this last version with classic drivers. And I mean, if I would run those projects, I would like not randomly change all this stuff, right? Pro tip, don't change what's broken. And the problem is they didn't even actively change this stuff. They just constantly randomly change other stuff around it. It's not like they intentionally touch this R200 or Yenter socket PCMCA Cardbus driver. They just refactor all their kernel shit all the time, and constantly they just SED stuff and change APIs and like mass substitute for API changes, and then yeah, 15 years of mass substituted agile development of like YOLOing every shit together. And it's like, stuff breaks, right? Never touch a running system. And basically, I would actually argue, I mean, not that we still don't have the Linux desktop with this 1925 Linux distributions, but in my opinion, having done open source for 25 years, and as you probably guessed by now, subscribing and sharing, liking and stuff this channel, I'm a little bit tired of after 20 years of having to deal with all this breakage. In my opinion, if this would be more professionally run, and maybe also preferably not in C, where everyone shoots themselves into the food, as we can see with this driver situation here. In my opinion, after 25 years, this stuff could be bug-free, right? This kind of Apple hardware, this was exceptionally working 20 years ago, right? Like it was so stable and suspending to memory, and like I run my 800 megahertz iBook for like weeks, if not sometimes a month, with like suspending to memory 5 times a day, carrying it to university each day. And nobody else freaking could do this with their x86 ACPI x86 laptops, right? 20 years ago. I mean, even today, it probably sometimes fails. And so all the hardware support was, nearly everything was plugged in. They were like probably the soft modem, but who cares about, even 20 years ago, I didn't care about the bloody analog soft modem shit in there. But probably everything except the bloody soft modem probably worked. And like, after 25 years, like this stuff could be bug-free, right? This is a recurring reminder. What is wrong not only in open source but in general with the software industry, right? Just look at Apple's #peakbugs, Microsoft. With 20 years of polishing, in my opinion, like not breaking stuff every month, but only changing what is broken and only improving where it needs improvement, and like maybe also have stable APIs and have like being able to run drivers from years ago and stuff, and being able to change them more freely, like on Windows between kernel versions and maybe a microkernel. But even with a monolithic single address-based kernel where everything can clobber each other and shoot themselves into the food with C each day, all day long, in my opinion, if this would be more professionally managed and not like Linus Sebastian Torvalds throwing his C code like CPUs on the floor each day, it could be bug-free, it could be amazing. But what once was working 20 years ago, 15 years ago, is like these days locks on boot up. Even if you figure out it's the freaking PCMCA Cardbus stuff, it's like, yeah, good luck with your graphics. It's like... And yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is I thought with this YouTube channel I can like finance hunting all this stuff, but I mean, obviously, as probably is obvious to everyone and even myself now, this is not only too broken and way too much time, also I can't grow a AAA successful YouTube channel with such. The crazy thing is I'm totally realizing if I just install vintage software like macOS 9, make a fancy video, like this doesn't compute. It was so amazing with macOS 9. Look at all this pretty UI, UX, bling bling stuff. And this was iMovie from 2001, and look how amazing this was. I would get 100,000 views instead of, hey, look how broke that is. That is software development, do it agile, change everything every day because we are agile, and it is set. It is set. The problem is that, I mean, maybe for my microkernel I shouldn't rewrite everything and just copy and paste everything together from others, like stealing their code and like making it work and pretty again. Actually wanted to check if we have some sensors in there. No sensors found. Sensors detect. There's always some of it. What we freaking don't. Okay, building Perl on this will take a while. We could actually. So yeah, this is, as you don't see, because I changed the professional me. I changed the host name after I installed it. Let's. Okay, this is not ideal. So yes, that is a life experience. The only good thing is that also you might not see the first line, right? Because I'm anyway. Leave in the comments below. For me, this is so depressive, and it's certainly, I mean, not only that I'm not as rich as Elon Musk, doing open source for 20 years. In general, I question, as there are so few people, I'm not the only one, there's certainly fans of this stuff at Gentoo and Debian as well. But given that very few people try to keep it running, and most people like just YOLO all the shit together and give 2 cents of no F, whether it still works tomorrow. I'm sort of questioning whether it was even, I mean, I didn't like update all the stuff for 10 years, or even test. I was like, basically, as I said so often, I was only running the core stuff for virtualization and embedded with T2 for us and our customers. But getting back to this 3 years for YouTube, like making all this stuff great again, I sort of have to question this life choices, because everything is just so freaking damn broken, TM. Hey, this will be the second t-shirt. You need to go to the more main channel. I think if we get 10,000 subscribers, which only like 500 are missing, maybe I should edit a AAA video of, hey, installing the last macOS 9 and the first Mac OS 10 and make a video of that doesn't compute. It was so amazing. Get the next 500 subscribers, because I think at 10,000 subscribers we might unlock some YouTube merchandise feature shit that I don't even know what it allows. So probably the first t-shirt, the only constant is change and regressions, and the next, what did I just say? Oh, everything is just so freaking broken TM. Yeah, compression and set standard re-zipping. It's 800 megahertz PowerPC G4 goodness. So the only good thing is we fixed some surrounding stuff, some independent stuff. Yesterday's video we made some open firmware and grabbed to booting better. All right, so how do we improve this? Maybe we should we make a second video? Good luck defaulting to a sane resolution. It can actually support what you try 4K. Try to connect the full screen to the DVD. I could actually try that. I just yesterday decommissioned my previously main Dell 4K MST. Of course, it will not run 4K. Those old GPUs usually have maximum configurable CRT stride of like 2048 or stuff. So you will anyway only get like a maximum of 1920 or something if you're lucky, and obviously single link DVI, obviously. And in worst case, you probably could run some stuff with 30 Hz or something. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Yeah, now I switched to LTE because obviously, right, LTE 0-drop frames, Vodafone with, I even upped the bandwidth, right? I started with 2 Mbit, but of course 2 Mbit is too much for our business. Vodafone DOCSIS, don't delay, cancel your Vodafone failing DOCSIS today. Now this is over O2 LTE and we have 0-drop frames, even with 1 Mbit more, 3 Mbit for your display sharpness. Yeah, so is it feasible to run 20-year-old 800 megahertz G4 PowerPC hardware? And there's like, if you're recompressing stuff all day long, because we're still waiting. But making this stuff better, so we fixed already a couple of things, and we will let's switch here to the trunk. As per usual, I mean, not only filling out what you do, and by the way, share, like, and subscribe, and GoFundMe and Patreon. If Patreon and GoFundMe reaches level where it can finance my day job and like paying rent and food for my family, then I can full-time fix these bugs. Also, we need to write higher quality software. That means not a monolithic kernel, not in C, obviously, and imagine what amazing stability that could be. But for the next days and weeks, we can always make our T2 a little bit better. So the next, oh wait, maybe we switch back, nothing like SVN switching here all day long. We will still make this better, right? I wanted to build this. Hey, we finished recompressing this stuff. Also, what do we have? We loaded this with 4 megabyte or something. Look, this is 10. What is it? Or is it 100 Mbit? Actually, I don't even freaking know. This is already, maybe it's already 100 Mbit, right? We probably can find. Oh, do we have ETH2 or what? We don't have ETH2. Oh wow, that also installed. Interesting. Let's just put this to do. So that is the only benefit of why do I waste my time with this old vintage stuff. I mean, not only I auctioned this specifically to have portable PowerPC stuff and future YouTube videos. So eventually, in some months, there will be if I ever have more time again, I will make a pretty video about this fancy machine too. There on the more main channel. Did I had LM sensors here? There. LM sensors and tool. So that's the only or major benefit. Okay, this did I didn't do this with -V for verbose. Yeah, whatever. Do we have libmnl on there? Apparently also not. So yeah, that would be the only thing. Should we build? So this is basically 3 packages that I wonder if we should include them by default, because this is kind of stuff. If even I need to emerge those first things, then maybe we should ship those. It's like here, it's not the super fastest, obviously. So the other thing is we probably better blacklist the stuff. So we could disable, we could fully remove this Yenter socket PCMCA Cardbus driver. We have disabled broken lists for all the architectures, because obviously with this 10,000 drivers and all those 2024 architectures, there's always something broken for something. Obviously it's a Linux kernel. Are we kidding? So look, it's all built in 1 minute 11. Well, what do you want? It's freaking high performance. PowerPC, Ultivec. stuff. Altivec accelerated, yay. Anyway, so socket, and I think the drawback is disabling this. Then you don't have this. Maybe it works for some other Power Macs. I doubt, or like maybe some Freescale. What was it? 750 or whatever. Or what were the names? I even have there some. Was it Freescale? Motorola. Quick and stuff. And actually have there some carrier grade compact PCI blades actually. Yeah, also already in from the basement from, could make a YouTube video about it because people watch compact PCI carrier grade Linux blade PowerPC stuff more than failing 3D stuff. So I think we blacklist this by default. Only need to check actually what was the best place. All right, Mod Pro D, I think. What was I had this actually. Should we check our Discord? I think it should be easy to find. Here I think I posted, is that not that, but that here, and maybe Arch Linux as well. So that is locals. Okay, I'm not actually sure if we support that. Also, I mean, all right, they renamed blacklist to don't. Oh, wait a second. Did the Linux kernel change this blacklist stuff to deny list? Questions over questions. What even was? I think this was actually slightly. Also, 800K. I patched Mac fdisk today because I noticed this Mac fdisk upstream always this bootable bootstrap partition was always 800K, and it's like because obviously 800K should be enough for everyone. And today, I mean, obviously for Yaboot it probably was, but grub2 obviously grows so large. Today I noticed by sheer luck that our grub is 700 something K already from 800K. So probably next year or sometime soon it will fail to install. So I patched that also so that the default, like starting from today into the Mac fdisk default bootstrap partition will be 2 freaking megabyte. So to have some headroom for probably some decade or two to come for grub2 for. You also wanted. So yeah, S2 built and hey, 2 minutes 18. That's not that slow, right? Does it not? This is Sangam. Does it not print? Here's everything. Probably, maybe. Where is the speed, symmetric, something? What is even negotiated? Ports, link modes. Which one is even speed? But this can't be. Wait a second. Negotiated. Where is even this? This can't be. I mean, maybe the driver. This thing can't have. Wait, this is Gigabit Ethernet. Am I confused, or was that really a thing 20 freaking years ago? Gigabit Ethernet. What the heck? This really was a freaking thing? I'm puzzled. 1 gigabit freaking Ethernet, can't make this shit up. Wow, this is total daily driver, man. That's a surprise. Wow, man, the future is. But man, that is. Speaking about network link speed scaling. Either that or blacklist mod probe, use blacklist, which does it even use here? Yeah. Here's some test blacklist. Here blacklist. So mod probe conf blacklist, I guess. I would hope that works. So to really test that, we probably would need to reboot or... Udev rules, blacklist, something, modules blacklisted. Kmod probe, apply blacklist. So I guess that would be handled by lib kmod, as this has some kmod probe, apply blacklist. So then I would hope package kmod, do we ship some grep this is just the directory. Maybe we want to somewhere ship a default file. Very theoretically, we could make this even platform dependent. So to load this Yenta socket probably also is used for other x86 machines. Might have been TI or something, Texas Instruments. And do we copy that into the init.rd? Yeah, so I guess, so the benefit of changing this also, yeah, there's always one more thing, right? I said so often software hardware is never done, even if you, I mean, you already know that you're not done because my to-do is like 100 lines long, from Ultra 5 doesn't soft power off to graphic is broken here and there. But also, you constantly always, I mean, even if you release it, you know, you release it with 100 bucks because there's only so much time. And then the other thing is then by testing and user feedback and stuff, you get another new 100 bucks. And so the benefit of blacklisting, deny listing that is that people could still force it, right? If they want to feel lucky, they have, even I have like amazing PCMCA cards, like an SCSI adapter and stuff. It's like if someone wants to try their luck and it's like they want to connect their vintage SCSI stuff or something, you could still try it. This is why I'm thinking of what you say with PS3 will be worse. P3 should be, I mean, yeah, P3 should be faster, but I mean, it also has faster memory and 64-bit and stuff. But by the way, this is compiling pretty right on the G4. So yeah, the question is, where do we, did we had even a mod probe? Do we even still have that? Or module init tools? Do we still? Maybe, you know what? You see, we have here some mod probe conf data. You see, we had here some stuff, but that's probably super. Oh, look, we even blacklisted some Cyrus FB because once upon a time that had some. Okay, so we actually kinda have been there, had done that. Maybe it's time probably not to restore all those crazy aliases because I wasn't missing them. It's probably for the most part extremely old-fashioned stuff. So we probably want to restore only stuff eventually. I guess it's also time to maybe delete those here. Those module init tools, because they're probably usually time to delete those over kmod. Module. what even was the something of that sort. And maybe we don't keep most things. And only add this Genta socket, and then we should theoretically test boot that, whether that actually really works. I slightly wonder if we should put Radeon FB in there. No, this is not the right one. That should be. That one, I slightly wonder if we. No, I think we have. Did we build floppy modular? So what else do we have here? Create link. Let's rename that to all post make. I slightly wonder. Only do this for non-toolchain. Oh, don't tell me this didn't copied. Because this way and stuff is a little bit glitchy. Yeah, something like that. Did I had this mod name blacklist set kernel ops. Because this is extremely alias off. Should this blacklist not work? Strange stuff. So that must be in modprop.d. Yeah, I guess the default file name doesn't matter the most. Theoretically, we could have anyway. We can just leave it like that. Why did we do that? Alright, we wanted LM sensors detect. Yeah, in general, leave in the comments below. For me, and this is the same with the Mesa removal, right? We discussed this in the Discord today. There also with Titanium IA64, and because upstream Mesa removed the classic drivers. I mean, they removed lots of classic drivers some years ago. They removed the last classic drivers just this year with the latest release. And a lot of people applaud this of like, yeah, let's bloat and stuff, but these are mostly optional drivers, right? This basically, I don't quite get this. Sure, this is vintageware and retro and kind of abandonware, obviously, and stuff, but it's still nice stuff. And you could even, I mean, you theoretically, I mean, internet browsing is not the super most amazing snappy thing, but I mean, for if you don't have more resources, especially in developing countries, I mean, something for terminal cloud login stuff. I mean, browsing. I mean, if you're not in a hurry, could still browse the internet even. But otherwise, like email, like all. Yeah, I mean, obviously the web is a little bit fat these days too. Probably everything kind of needs a diet, but it's also crazy, like destroying, like people put their blood and sweat in like making all the stuff working and amazing with open source, right? And then we let it degrade for decades and then just deleted all the hard work of it's, I don't know. Okay, this didn't quite install there though. Or did I build another? Maybe I did build. I built PowerPC 64, 32. What do I even do here? Yeah, I would hope that should work, probably. Yeah, theoretically we should test that. I slightly wonder if our init.rd copies those files. Was I so forward? Yeah, we actually copy all of this stuff. Amazing. This somehow. Oh, wait a second, this is too. I wonder if this regular expression, what would it be? Scripts commit. Where would that here? All this stuff maybe can be somehow. It's too complex. I'll leave it like it is. Makes no sense to put time into improving this regular expression. There's a limit of perfection. I was thinking like, yeah, but yeah, it's tricky. It's for another day. So that is, oh wait, I nearly committed that into the wrong. Good that I double checked that. Something of that sort. And then because we just released the classic release, I guess it's time to delete this module in the tools. I guess nobody's using those anymore. At least should not be using, even we switched to Kmart. So yeah, that is a little bit, right, we had also theoretically, it's also crazy how they can break their 3D stuff constantly. This is so, I probably should check what is going on in the comments. At least we found that, I mean, it's given that we want to get more users, and the more users, the more contributions and finding regressions and bugs and stuff. And the more they use it, the more they help, obviously. And from that point, it needs, of course, to work, right? Otherwise, if T2 Linux freezes, like all the other untested Linux versions like Debian or Gentoo and stuff, if all of those freezes because this Cardbus stuff freezes, then obviously helps little that we support 24 freaking architectures. What else do we have there? Yeah, even this, I'm not even sure how much, I didn't even use it that much, how much memory that has. Gig of memory, I'm not sure what the maximum is. Maybe that is the maximum. I guess it has 2 SODIMMs and usually they don't support larger ones. So yeah, but it's crazy. This, I mean, it's not that younger than, not that much older than a P3. It is only like 5 years or so, I think, older. The P3 was really, unfortunately, severely memory limited. I really wish they would at least put 512 megs in there. So more Kleenex, and all right, we could check what happens when we add those modules. I mean S tool, Ethernet tool is really nice to have though. Where should we maybe not too. Is it minimal? Yeah, again. Okay, actually it was in there until recently, and then they had a new dependency. Does it still revert? Maybe not due to roaming. I don't know. Is it libmnl or what was it? libmnl. And oh, by the way, I didn't even start. Did I start btop? All right, I didn't even run the. Okay, then not. LM sensor. Should we put this into minimal or? I mean, it's not really. It's kind of nice to have. Maybe do we need an interim step of? I mean, we have Bootstrap. Bootstrap should be most minimal compiler stuff, or maybe Bootstrap shouldn't even have. Maybe we should further refine this. That Bootstrap is. Oh, we have toolchain. Okay. I mean, it's not truly minimal, or is it? It's like kinda like generic or nice to have. You know what? We could actually. I mean, even eject is only in there for the installer to eject. It's not like extremely needed. Maybe we. Prepare this already to split this off in case of. So this is bootloader stuff that is times, yeah, bootloader arch-specific random stuff. I mean, even, oh, we have smart mode, I didn't expect that. Like, strictly speaking, this is also nice to have. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is too insignificant to warrant yet another. Even this is not extremely minimal here. sorting a little bit by size and priority or something. I mean, even Vim is literally not the, I mean, but I guess you want some editor. I would even say this is, I think this is only for bootstrapping. I mean, maybe we even should put that into Bootstrap because I think you need this sometimes to download some random stuff. So let's see, what does it build? Does it build? Let's see if libmnl cross builds. Maybe there was a reason why I didn't. Anyway, so that is a major benefit, right, of using our own stuff. Oh, libmnl, did we not? Let's cross the 184 to 100. Which one is it here? S2, 804. Should be one. This is not. But it's crazy that this is a gigabit Ethernet. That is a really unexpected find. But here, stuff is, I mean, it's crazy that I built on a that performance iBook. Why does libmnl not build? What's going on there? That I built with that performance level 20 years ago. I built PowerPC ISOs, official release stuff, and all the development. I mean, sure, back in the day it was state of the art, but it's anyway. It's crazy how performance went. Config, PowerPC. Why is this not, did we somehow mistype that? Or maybe I didn't put it in there with my editing, or apparently somehow. Let's try that again. So what else is going on there in the comments? VRAM. Eugen says allocate VRAM as not regular memory. It's not that easy. The VRAM is extremely slow. The readback also from VRAM is like mind-blowing 6 megabyte per second or so slow, like crazy slow. So you need to use DMA. So it's not like you can just pretend it's normal memory. You need to. I mean, you could just use it, but it's so slow. It's slower than serial ATA transfers. It's crazy slow. So you need this P3 VRAM driver thing, which is using DMA to get it out there with some increasing 6 megabyte readback to hundreds, or like 600 or 1000 megabyte. So it's not as easy as just using this as regular memory. The P3 cell architecture has vastly different speeds depending on which component is reading what through which path. So yeah. Nano only needs increases read line bash wants to remember Firefox reference, like yeah, same. I remember when I built Firefox back in the day, Mozilla, whatever that was called, and OpenOffice, when 1 gig of memory was state of the art, right? When normal people, like normal enthusiasts, had like 1 gigahertz single core, 1 gigabyte, and that was already like system platform kind of maximum and stuff. I certainly, like next to the PowerPC, I had a gigahertz Athlon also at some point. Certainly I had like only 1 gig of memory in there because I think the G5 I even purchased only with half a gig of memory in 2004. Probably thinking like it's overpriced Apple shit, and I later plug in there some more modules or stuff. But that was 2004 stuff. So did we build that already, or what happened here? PowerPC 6432 S2 libmnl No LM sensors. Oh, not. And that is a win-win. I mean, beside wasting my time with this otherwise stuff I don't really need. And that is also why we are in this situation, because people only do what they need, right? Everyone's a little bit selfish and stuff. Oh, that also didn't install well. If I would only do what I would need, like then there would not be Rock Linux continuation, that is D2 and all this platform support, right? Because I mean, obviously I don't need 24 of those 22 of this 24, or like 20 of this 24 architectures I don't need. So if everyone would only do what they do, like Linus Torvalds or stuff, then it's exactly why everything is broken and not supported and stuff. I mean, if Linus Torvalds would be honest, he should delete all the architectures that are not x86, PowerPC, and what ARM, RISC-V or stuff. Like basically everything else is unsupported, randomly breaking. So this is build and configuration. Why did this error also? Okay, this is actually really installed mostly. I mean, at least we have for all ISOs more stuff in, like Eth2 will probably nice to have, and like LM sensors cross-compilable, which probably is just a little bit of YOLOing here somewhere. Like probably, I mean, maybe once upon a time it even built like that, and then they added this steer support. Maybe that was needed some decades ago, and let's somewhat prefer that a little bit more sorted. Oops. Also, mouse wheel support in the terminal, also one of the most useless things. Unfortunately, uninstall that now first. Let's try that again. That is at least a win-win. We then can hopefully cross-compile LM sensors. It used the PowerPC cross-compiler. That is probably what is with this Perl. Something wanted Perl support now, but no, whatever. Or maybe it's not checking for Perl support, it's just installing this thing as Perl script. That could be. So yeah, that is the biggest win-win, improving the stuff. But yeah, this makes me so sad, man. When you grew up with Linux, where graphic always sucked, and that is the thing, right? We all worked so hard. I mean, certainly others more than I. I mean, I have not written all of Mesa and drivers and stuff, but I mean, if Mesa would be my project, like T2 is my project, then I mean, I would keep some vintage stuff around. I really can't really quite get that, how people can let their, I mean, imagine you are, the author is Brian Paul or stuff, I think, something of that sort. Yeah, I guess, and it's crazy that I keep here more vintage stuff around. I mean, once upon a time, even the 3D Labs Glint stuff was supported. It was even, as far as I read history some month ago, 3D Labs, which not 3DFX, 3D Labs, Glint, of one of that area, affordable professional 3D hardware accelerators. And as far as I read recently, lo and behold, that Glint was the first modern driver back in 20 years ago, or 18 years ago stuff, that was implemented for the direct rendering interface, right? So the direct rendering DRI was, as far as documentation goes, and when I read the freaking manual, the first freaking DRI driver, right? And nowadays it's of course non-existent anymore, but it's crazy that once upon a time it was the first freaking state-of-the-art DRI driver. Nowadays, like, long deleted, because YOLO, who cares about, I mean, there's 100,000 of human hours software engineering, state-of-the-art software engineering. It's so sad. And open source people always say, like, they know everything, they are the greatest, and that is the reality, right? I should write it down in another subtitle name for this channel. Not only so only constants change and regressions and everything is so freaking broken TM, but also what did I just want to say? This is why I should write it down. What did I just say? I probably need to rewind. Something was honest. What did I want to say? A reality check. Reality check of promises. Not really. Like outstanding, backward compatible, and what would you call this? Like long-term, outstanding long-term hardware support stuff or something, and like old hardware exceptionally supported, or like perfectly supported. Unfortunately, that was like what people, open source people said 15 years ago, right? We got this. We maintain all these drivers in tree, in outstanding quality, and that's it. So yeah, probably 1 hour gone. 116 frames dropped over LTE. I switched that. Let's commit LM sensors. Do we have flipped here there? Fixed LM sensors cross. Should we call this install? Maybe we should call it install when stuff just needed. I'm pretty sure this either it was always buggy or it was previously needed. In either case, now it works. And the other thing would be also, I really hate this subversion merge. Yeah, this is so ridiculous. Another case of why did they touch it? It was just freaking working. No, always constantly gets this merge noise where you don't even understand where it's coming from. Target, generic package selection, and yeah, I think that is nice to have. Oh, this is still building. Oh, of course it's still building. I probably should. Oh wait, did it just finish? No. I need something to drink though. Back in a second for some hydration. If I find my mouse cursor. Hello, mouse cursor. So cheers. Nothing like some juice with 50% tap water. Yeah, that actually, you say agile. I already wanted to make a video. Actually, so many open source, that is the crazy stuff. Like some prominent open source people totally against agile, like Felix von Leitner. Surely, yeah. And cheapskate, surely not even with CO2. And that's so funny that some people like Felix von Leitner, he's a famous German blogger, like agile, at least that is what. I mean, often he has media competence exercises here, so who knows if he writes on his famous blog stuff against agile, then could potentially not be his true opinion. But I guess he's against agile, like proper planning and not like agile random stuff. So I mean, given that some prominent big name open source developer stuff like are against agile, it's crazy how agilely broken this stuff is. And I'm actually thinking about this. I'm actually for reasonable agile, but more to that in a future video. I wanted to make a video about this already. So I guess it makes sense. If similar how if we have SmartMon tools already in there, we probably also want LM sensors in as tool is tool. Edit. Am I in the right? I need to double check. Yes. Really living on the dangerous side here with this. Okay, we are trunk right now. LM sensors, S2 and XML2. Minimal moved onset to bootstrap I guess that is probably it. What do we do here? By the way, one other interesting thing is I noticed by pure chance here looking at the log file on the G4, like BTOP has a really crazy... come on. What is even... I so hate that this dash R is not... Why is this dash R not... I so hate this. No, but seriously, why does this not... Once upon a time this was working, why does it not work now anymore? Or dash R, do we need that or? Anyway, I wanted to say it's so cool that it has crazy output. I mean, I certainly don't need that necessarily, but I mean, of all those, I mean, yeah, this person really has too much time. But this is, I never seen that. I mean, of all the crazy, only wanted to say, of all this crazy Meson and stuff, printing stuff, I mean, this output size in seconds, actually, first time I've seen that. I'm not even the fanciest Meson or stuff, build scripts. That is an interesting thing. Also, how would you... Okay, these are two lines. So they, I mean, okay, the drawback is they printed twice, but I slightly wonder how they compute. Is it hard-coded? Maybe I should actually... I mean, the percentage is a little bit near, but the problem with this is, of course, it prints everything 2 times. But okay, if you have warnings and errors in between. But anyway, I just wanted to say that it's crazy, verbosely styled make output stuff. That's basically it for this video. But to summarize this kind of bugs also render this kind of useless, right? It would be nice vintage machine. You could even play like Quake 3 or stuff on this other vintage games. But obviously, I mean, maybe Quake 3 runs okay and it's just like... But I wouldn't bet on this, as this simple geometry already doesn't work. It's like, yeah. But anyway, at least we... wait a second, we can update the to-do. We added that, sensors and that. But it's crazy how fast we gather here new bugs and things to do. Faster than we can fix it. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. And as always, looking forward to your comments, what you think about this topic, your findings, experience, and otherwise what you found interesting or want to see. See you next time.